Hello guys, welcome to the post-match review. Manchester United 3, Crystal Palace 1, free-flowing attacking football, fitness increasing, and another win for Manchester United on the tour. So smash a like on the video and hit that subscribe button if you're buzzing with that. Alongside me to pick the bones from this game is, of course, Mr. Sam McCabe and Mr. Adam Gray. How you doing, Adam? Fresh back from Paris.
Yeah, fresh back from Paris, survived the heat, next level heat. Concert was great. Coming back was a bit of a disaster between flight delays, getting back home a day later than I thought, but here we are. I watched the game on the train, enjoyed every minute of it, except for goal we can see that I think De Gea does better, but I'm sure we'll get into all that.
Yeah.
But we're looking a lot better, we are, and it's actually good to watch it. It feels
Yeah.
good to actually watch United now. I know it's only pre-season, but I don't want to get ahead of myself either. So roll on to start the season.
Yeah, positive vibes. It's
Yeah.
very weird. If you think back to the end of the season, how bad that was, and we're here now. Obviously, we're only 3 games into pre-season, but the difference at the minute in the football, which again we're going to touch on a little bit later, is just mega, mega. Sam, how are you doing? I'm expecting a really positive answer. How are you doing?
Yeah, it was good up until the sort of technical issues before this, but yeah, it don't help in the heat when you look at it like technology and it's winding you the
Oh,
fuck
yeah.
up, and then you're just getting hot, and then you're getting hotter because so yeah. But yeah, United win, good win, it's good performances, some good stuff to see. So yeah, let's get into it.
Definitely. Let's jump into the analysis then. I'm gonna give you my little kind of synopsis, and then I'm gonna get your thoughts on it and see what you guys thought. I personally thought, as a team in general, the tempo, overloads, and the movement between the front four was really good to see. I thought it was all interactive. Probably the best game I've seen on tour so far. From the first, you think the first one against Liverpool was decent, but I didn't think the football was that great, and I thought Liverpool gave us a lot of chances. And then the second one, Melbourne victory, it was one of them. They had a counter attack at the start, and then from then it was pretty much plain sailing, in my opinion. And then this one, I know Crystal Palace didn't have a lot of their players like the likes of Zaha and Eze because of the vaccination thing, but they still had some senior players in that team. And it was more about the actual style of football that I saw in that game rather than the result itself and the individuals performing. I just think it's refreshing to see football being played the way that it should in a proactive fashion. And if you think we've got Eriksen and Lisandro Martinez to add to that as well, and then if you can bring in De Jong and maybe an attacker, then we might be developing something. But we need to get these guys in sooner than later because they need to bed into the team and they need to settle. And the quicker we do that, the better a performance we're going to have overall. Because I thought on the wings, as again, we're going to get into later individual performances, but the wing backs thought really good. The wingers was good. Martial, Bruno were good, but then the two centre-back pairings and then the two midfielders, which we've had issues with previously, there's still some cobwebs there that I think need dusting off, and there's still plenty of things to work on, in my opinion. But Sam, just give us your thoughts on the performance as a team first, if you can, and then Adam, tell us what you liked about the football in general, and then we'll get on to individuals and stuff.
Yeah, I thought very positive. Obviously, let's just preempt this was Crystal Palace's B and C team, so let's not sort of get carried away. They had like 11 like you said, 11 12 players out, so let's not get carried away. But I think there's some good performances. I thought the fullbacks were really, really good. Malacia and Dalot, I thought they played really well, and you can see the evidence of what Ten Hag was trying to do, so I thought that was really sort of interesting and good to watch. I thought Sancho, again, by far and away one of our best players, fantastic. Anthony Martial scoring again for the third game in a row is only a positive. There's a couple of negatives like I'll get into later, but yeah, for the most part, it was probably the most solid performance we've had up until the David De Gea sort of mistake. But yeah, really good to see job done football, which is what you want to see from Man United.
Yeah, Adam, I thought the front four in particular were linking up really nice. Lots of different interchanging, different combinations, flair, close control, and they all had a bit of bite about them. It seems like even in the pressing, like off the ball work, which is really nice to see, which we don't really usually associate with the likes of Martial or Rashford. But what do you think about the front four in particular?
They really, really impressed me. It's the big standout thing for me, what I noticed, because last season we were struggling in the final third. And I remember last season, I think we had one of the least, in terms of the whole league, we had the least touches inside the box.
Yeah.
Like, but this game, you could see we were passing inside the box. Particularly was it the Rashford's goal. Great build-up play from the team, and Sancho with a lovely through ball to Martial. Kind of goes back. Donny squares it then, and Rashford taps it in. Great team goal. Then the link-up play, especially Martial. I liked how he kind of dropped it back a bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the two wingers run past them, and we saw that for was it the third goal, the last goal? Then it was.
Yeah, we're gonna get onto goals in a
We'll
sec,
get into
Adam,
them,
just
yeah.
and into detail and stuff. But
Mhm.
yeah, the front four, I don't know what's happened, because I feel like Martial looks leaner. I don't know if you agree with that. He looks hungrier. It just looks like, even at times, like look like a little bit like a leader. There was a situation when Jordan Ayew kicked the fuck out of Bruno Fernandes and got booked for it, and Martial was the one who came over, separated him, was just talking to like Jordan Ayew like face to face, and was like, calm the fuck down. Which is weird to see that kind of side of him, because everyone associates Anthony Martial being this kind of just cool, not really bothered, very laid back.
Yeah.
And he just seems completely different. I don't know what Erik ten Hag said to him, but yeah, the attacking line certainly looks promising. Midfield wise, as we know, obviously Sam, the very limited, and I thought that improved when Donny came on. Donny came on at half time,
Yeah.
didn't it? And just played the full second half rather than just the 30 minutes. Sorry. Yeah, Donny van der Beek improved, I think, on his last performance. I thought, defensively there was a few errors which need addressing, but the wing backs had a really good game. So long may it continue. Who stood out for you in this game, Sam? Do you think?
Dalot. I thought Dalot was very impressive. I thought he did a lot of good work. It overlaps with Sancho. He seems like he's developing a really good partnership with Sancho. Some good crosses. He was involved in the Martial goal. I think he got the who was it on? It might have been Malacia actually. He got like a ball from Malacia, chested it down
with his weak foot.
Yeah, got it, chested it down, put it
Malacia.
into Martial, and it was a goal. So yeah, Dalot's really impressed me. Sancho continues to be fantastic as always. Donny finally showed what I've been waiting to see from him. Finally, it's taken a while, but I've finally seen something from him, so it stands him in good stead. Harry Maguire kept things nice and tidy. Didn't really see any sort of mistakes from him. Didn't see anything doing anything stupid, which made the change from the Melbourne game. So yeah, I don't want to.
The crowd being on his back.
Yeah, I don't want to slag Harry Maguire off every single week, but so I like to say when he's done well or he's done decently or something like that. So, yeah, the only person, I know you didn't ask this, but the only person I thought had a really poor game was Scott McTominay, and I think it's the second game in a row where he's had a bad game, and it's really starting to not worry me, but it's starting to bother me that he could end up playing 30 odd games this season, because if we don't get De Jong or someone like that, he's going to be our first choice starting.
We're going to get onto Scott McTominay definitely, because I really want to speak about his performances. I agree in a similar way, but yeah, the defense. I'm glad you mentioned the defense, because I thought he was stable. I thought the first 10-15 minutes was a little bit weird, and he was getting in behind and stuff, but then they kind of resolved that and they looked more comfortable. Maguire actually had a much better game than I've seen for a bit, to be fair, especially on the ball. Them diagonals he was playing. Because he was played as like a right centre back rather than the left hand side, he was just spraying it out constantly. That was always an outlet. Rashford on that left hand side, or Malacia, or whoever it was. But as a partnership, I know we discussed this many times, especially recently, me and you, Sam. But Adam, I want to ask you about this. Do you see it being Lissandro and Varane if Varane can stay fit, or do you still think Maguire's going to play alongside Lissandro?
It's a tough one to say, really, because we said it all last season when he was poor. He surely has to be dropped, but he never got dropped. Will that be brought into next season? It very well could, but I think it's time to try and get behind him. I think there's at the current moment there's a witch hunt on the guy, and even like today he was getting abused, and he didn't deserve any of it because he had an alright game. He didn't put a foot wrong. And Ten Hag said he'd stick with him. He's going to be his captain. It could be a case where a vice captain could be starting most of the games if he's not really playing. I think ideally them two he'd have a lot more faith in, Varane and Martinez, because he's worked with Martinez before, and I'm sure, as we all know, Varane is our best defender on his day when he is fit, but that's the issue when he's fit. So I think he might start the season. I think it's going to be Martinez and Maguire to start at Brighton, and you see Varane obviously was out again today, so I think that's how they're going to start the season. We mightn't enjoy it or like it that much, but we had to kind of get behind the team. You can't just like start slating the guy. I've already seen people turning on the manager for some of the comments he's made and some of the decisions, and
fuck
it's
off.
like we're third game of pre-season. Exactly. So just back whatever decision he makes. He's one of the most experienced coaches in Europe. He knows what he's doing, and he, as he said, he doesn't have. He actually has the cojones to drop big names. He said, even if they're not working out, and that would maybe include Cristiano Ronaldo if he stays as well. He'd drop him, and Martial is looking really good up front. So yeah, will he come into the fray then and kind of mix everything up?
I bet you never thought you'd be saying that, Adam.
No, never thought I'd be saying that, but you have to play players who want to be here, and like, so you got to play your best team as well, like in terms of the whole team. And maybe Maguire might be in our best team this season, so maybe he'll start. I think he'll start at the start of the season, and we'll see then if the poor form continues. I say Varane will come in then.
Well, I'm thinking if you're gonna put Harry Maguire as captain, surely you want your captain leading out your team in the first game, right, against Brighton. So I can't see him not starting, to be honest. Like, I completely agree. I think it'll be Lissandro and Maguire. But then I hope he changes it, because if you can get Lissandro and you can get Varane playing week in, week out, I think that partnership would be really good. I think they complement each other really well. And then you've got the exciting wing backs. I thought Malacia and Dalot in particular today looked really, really good. And starting to develop partnerships and stuff. And we've seen that for the first goal as well, which was my favourite in particular. Great pass from Malacia on his weak foot. And then you got, I think it was Dalot, brought it down in his chest, chopped it onto his left foot, and then picked out Martial. Great control from Martial. Finishes again. Sam, what did you like in particular about that goal? Was it Malacia? I think you mentioned Malacia before, on his right foot.
Yeah, Malacia, really good. It's the first time we've seen him start. Obviously, in the previous games, he just got sort of bit parts in the second half, but we finally got to see why Ten Hag sort of rated him and wanted him. And we've finally started to see how Ten Hag plays with like fullbacks who know how to attack, who know how to cross a ball, who know how to do the overlaps and that kind of stuff. So it's the first sort of evidence we're seen.
We're not used to this.
No, exactly. We've had to deal with Wan-Bissaka and everything going down the left, but Luke Shaw and Rashford. So yeah, it's a bit different. But it's nice to see. It was a good switch as well. It's like Malacia down the left, switch it to Dalot on the right, ball goes in, Martial goal. And it was like maybe a couple of touches on each thing. It's like one touch from Dalot and then the ball, and then Martial takes it down, puts it in the net. It's like, imagine with that old...
Both on the weak foot as well.
Yeah.
It was Dalot's left foot and Malacia's right foot.
But imagine like last season, us trying to do that sort of stuff. Like literally, Luke Shaw would have got it, looked ahead, seen nothing, gone backwards and sideways, gone all the way back out to Dalot. Yeah. He would have come forward, seen nothing, gone back towards McTominay. It would have broken down immediately. So yeah, it was nice to see something completely different for once.
100%. And I know you touched on it before as well, Adam, but the second goal, really intelligent play, amazing first touch from Martial. Yep. Sancho plays a smart ball in behind. You think he's going to go to Donny, but he does like a little smart inverted one to Martial. Pushes out a little bit near the keeper. He reverts it back to Donny. Donny squares it. Rashford's got an easy tap in. Proper good team goal, wasn't it?
It was 100%, and it started from the back as well. It started from De Gea kicking it out to the left side. Then we charged down. It was one of the better team goals I've kind of seen us scoring quite a while.
De Gea distribution.
Ages.
De Gea setting up a fucking attack. What's going on?
I feel like the last team goal I saw was at Sheffield when Pogba did that roller coaster. He gave it Greenwood gave it Rashford, then he went to Martial, and then they scored. That's the last proper team goal I've seen, and to see something like that was just proper refreshing, man.
It was, as we said, I think I was saying it before we went live, liquid football. It's almost like like prime Barca who.
And there's a lot. Sorry, go on, continue your point.
I was just saying, I pointed it out that we don't really typically get much touches in the box last season, so it was good to see us actually get a few touches in the box, because Man City in particular are one of those teams have the most. I think they have the most in the league, most touches inside the box. And then I must actually look up the stats. I wish I looked it up. I haven't, but it was quite a few times we actually had possession inside the box.
Yeah, and I think that's due to a lot of it was due to the overloads. Whenever we got on the right hand side, left hand side, there was just numbers getting forward, and we rarely used to see that. Dalot, Sancho on that right hand side were proper dangerous, man. And they're going to cause a problem, I think, this season if they keep working together. And that's why I want to continue to see Sancho on the right. But again, we'll get on Sancho a little bit later. The third goal was fucking brilliant. Lovely half turn from Rashford. Gets drilled. I don't know who passed it to Rashford. I can't remember. But it gets drilled into Rashford. He does like this spin. It's like sort of drag spin. Then he feeds it to Martial. Martial plays a smart pass to Sancho, returning the favour. Sancho gives it a little dummy. Sends Joel Ward and their keeper to the gulag, and then finishes with a lovely finish. Which one was your favourite, Sam, out of them three we just discussed then?
I think the Martial one,
Which one did
with
you like the most?
Malacia and Dalot. It was so refreshing to see fullbacks joining an attack. Like every other team experiences this all the time. Liverpool do, Chelsea do, City do. They see this all every week. So to see it in a United team is so good to see. Like I enjoyed it so much, especially for a guy like Malacia straight into the team. He's had two games, 2 half games, and he's already having an impact, which is fantastic. And Dalot, we said last year under Ragnick, he was one of the better players under Ragnick, and he's continuing that on, which is, again, it's great to see. It's great to see somebody improve and then continue to improve. So yeah, that was my favourite. Not to say the other 2 goals weren't great either, because Donny got involved in one of the goals, which I was calling for, so that was good to see as well. But yeah, my favourite was the fullback Martial one.
Yeah. And then on the flip side of the coin, Adam, we've got Palace who score from another set piece, which we just seem to be shit at. I don't know why. Defending set pieces, we seem to be really bad.
Defending and attacking.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Very good point. But yeah, Tellez beat Ariel. No surprise there. Joel Ward gets his head to it, but De Gea should have done better there, shouldn't he?
Oh, 100%. Like, I think it bounced in front of him, hit his knee and went in then, was it? Like, it went under his arms.
Oh, yeah, it was shocking.
It was really bad. And especially, like, our player of the year... Well, he wasn't really our player of the year. Ronaldo got it, wasn't it? But arguably, he was up there with our player of the year last season. And then to do a mistake like that when we were on top, then obviously the red card happened. They could have done a comeback if they had their full team. I reckon we would have nearly collapsed at that point. Heads could have dropped. But that's the main difference about, having a big keeper, kind of like Alisson and that. They are at a different level now. They are. I hate to say it. De Gea, he's probably just a bit below, but 100% should have saved it. It's just so annoying that we turn off on set pieces so much, and it happened all last season. And I'm hoping we don't drag that into next season, because it's one thing Ten Hag likes to do. It's just pay details to every little attention to every little detail. Especially on set pieces, he'll be studying the opposition. And to be fair, Ward is like one of their tallest players. He should be. Why are we putting Tellez on him? I don't know why. Shouldn't be Tellez on him. Yeah, and especially with the form he's in. But yeah, it's a bit of a worry. But hopefully, it's just he's got his clanger out of the way. He won't get any more.
I don't know. I think he's got plenty more.
He does have a few.
Sam, your theory of De Gea being shit when we're good might actually come into fruition. Like,
yeah,
it could happen. I should have done better on that, shouldn't he, Sam?
Yeah, the one thing you want for, like, we slag off his distribution, we slag off his command of his box, we slag all this stuff off. The one thing we've always said, he's one of the best shot stoppers in the world, and an average shot stopper should be able to stop that. That's a very sloppy, easy goal to concede.
Horrendous, if we're being honest.
Yeah, so he needs to do so much better. And yeah, I hope it's just like a one-time mistake. It's pre-season. This is the time to make mistakes. So I hope it's just like he's done it, and then that's it now. We can sort of move on. But if that's a trend that's going to continue, it's a little bit of a worry, because we're already bad at defending set pieces and anything crossing into the box. So I don't want to...
And who do we have? Tom Heaton?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man.
And then who's the young lad? Who's the young lad we've got? Kovar. Yeah. So it's not the greatest backup in the world, is it? It's not like we've got Sergio Romero still, who was arguably the best second keeper ever. Like every time he played, he was fucking awesome. So yeah.
Yeah, it never made sense to me that getting rid of Romero. But
also,
anyway,
we've got. Sorry, Nick. We've got 50 people in the chat and nobody's talking to me. Fucking drop some comments in the chat. Drop some questions. Drop your feelings, man. Come on.
Yeah. And
talk
like
to myself and like the video, subscribe, all that stuff. Yeah, like drop some stuff in the chat. There's 50 of you. Come on, somebody's got to say something.
Yeah.
What do you think of the game today?
Exactly. Let us know your thoughts on the game. Who you thought performed well. Who you thought performed bad. How you feel about the coaching. Can you see it in the game? All that kind of stuff. Yeah, towards the back end of the game, we had a little bit of a negative, obviously. Is it Will Fish? Is that his name?
Yeah.
I think it's Will Fish, the young lad. Got sent off. They've actually flew him out from England to come here, and then he's got sent off. And it's kind of like it's one of them. He'll learn from it, hopefully.
Poor lad.
And you don't want that. Yeah, you don't want that to overshadow a result, really, do you? Because overall, it was a decent performance. I want to chat to you guys about the players individually. I know we've spoken about a couple already, but we'll go from keeper to striker because I want to get your thoughts. I think there's going to be some difference in opinion, but that's what Fan Channel's for. David De Gea, one of his weaker games, in my opinion. I thought he could have done better for the goal, as we just discussed. And his distribution's better, but it was sometimes, I don't know if you've seen the video as well, Ten Hag saying, "What the fuck was that, David?" Screaming at him. Because literally one passage of his distribution I think it went out for throw-in, or it was just an awful pass, and he was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Which just shows how much he's kind of demanding. What did you think of his performance overall? Like, forget aside obviously the mistake he had for the goal. Do you think he was okay? Do you think it was an average performance, or do you think it was below par? Adam, I'll go to you on that.
Well, yeah, the distribution obviously has improved a lot, like we saw for the build-up of the second goal, wasn't it? Yeah, second goal, and he didn't really have much to do because they weren't on the ball that much, and then he's one test that he does have, he failed on. So I call it an average game. Like he wasn't really called into action that much. I think the few shots he had were straight at him. He caught them, other than one of them. But should I give my rating now or?
No. We'll do some ratings towards the end of the thing. But you thought average or below par, would you say, or you just thought straight?
I say what happened between the goal and then the build up of the goal, it just evens it out. So just average. He wasn't called into action that much. For heroics or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the clip as well, Sam. I don't know if it's the first goal, it might have been, but that was proper Ten Hag ball, as you can see. That's in the thumbnail as well. From the two centre backs splitting, but they picked it up and then straight into midfield. Attackers do some interchanging, link up, and then they score. So from back to front, it seems like it's a healthy process, but still feel like there's some cobwebs in there. And one of the players I thought as well was Harry Maguire. I know we said he had a good game, but I still see that first 10-15 minutes when we're in transition, he still looks a little bit shaky, and I'm still worried about that. Like, I don't think it's okay doing it in pre-season, but I don't think we can go into games in the Premier League coming up against the likes of St. Maximum or Mo Salah or someone like that. I don't think he's got enough recovery pace, and I think he's going to struggle. Is he convincing you, Sam? Slightly, Maguire yet? Did that performance convince you?
I think you need to have more than one game in terms of like convincing somebody that you've improved or you've gotten over the sort of poor performance that you had last year. And I use the term poor, like, to be kind, because it was so much worse than poor. It was unbelievably bad. So yeah, he's going to need to put in a few really good performances against top opposition. Let's face it, we played Crystal Palace, yes, Premier League team, but they were missing 12 players. So let's sort of get it right. If he puts in performances like that against really good teams, against really tough teams, and against the top teams, then yeah, he'll start going some way. But he's got a lot of ground to make up because the trust isn't there yet. It's not there yet. Before you go on to the next one, there's a couple of comments finally. People are starting to listen to me. Ashley Dalot. Oh, Ashley Dallow's back. He made some really good stuff last time. Anthony Martial involved in 3 goals. It is going to be his season, definitely. David Gabriel. I'm not convinced Martial's good enough for the Premier League. Contrasting opinions there. And then Nick Knack, my first time here. Hi guys, how's it going, mate? Welcome to the channel.
Welcome.
Nick Knack, welcome, Nick Knack. I love the name. Love it.
Is it the crisps? Nick Knack, let us know. Is it the crisps? Because I'm a big fan of the crisps.
Or it might be called Nick and then second name Knack. If he is, that is epic.
That is amazing.
Whoever's thought of
That's
that,
a great name.
if it's your dad or your mother, and they've just gone, right, his second name's Knack, there's only one name we can possibly put in front of that, and it has to be Nick. My name's Nick. Happy days. But yeah, on Maguire, I thought I didn't like the boos. I didn't get it. I really didn't understand it. Like, you want a player to perform, you want him to do well, and you want him to progress. Give the lad a chance. Like, I know he was shit last season. I fully understand that. We've got a new manager with new ideas in a new system. Just let him, give him time to progress. If he's still playing shit in a few weeks' time or after the first couple of games in the Premier League, bench him. That's
it's pre-season as well.
Don't
like,
boo the poor lad before he's even like kicked a fucking ball, because it's only going to make him play worse. I don't get what you gain from that. I really don't get what you gain from that, to be honest.
I mean, I don't understand why boo somebody in pre-season. It's fucking pre-season. Like, just
like,
give it a rest. For God's sake.
I have Nick Knack.
Oh yeah.
Oh, go on.
I'm a fan of the crisp
He's
too.
a fan of the crisp too.
But Nick is my name.
Yeah, let us know what flavour as well. Is it Sticky Barbecue, the purple pack?
Yeah, that's a good one. But Ashley Dalot, Eric Ten Hag's the youth coach. Willie Fish, youth coach. Sure he will. After 10 minutes, he got handed. Well done. Well done, mate. I like it. On a more serious note, Tyrell Malacia is so good. Really impressed by his performance. Yeah, we were just talking about that as well. Definitely.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Malacia is certainly an interesting prospect. I feel like the first game he was trying to impress a little bit too much. And he was trying to do things and then he just started simplified it a little bit and just showing us his qualities up and down that flank all day. I think Luke Shaw would have had a bit of half-time Big Mac if he was on the pitch.
Yeah.
Hey, can I pose a question? If you're Luke Shaw now, are you sweating? Just, I know obviously with the weight issue. Other than that, I mean,
Jesus Christ,
like with this new guy coming in.
I would be. If I just watched him in that game, then I would be looking at it and I'd be like, he's got potential. I think he's got bags of potential. He's young, hungry, more of a modern wing back. Obviously, I put the kind of assist to the assist for the first goal with his right foot. Have you ever seen Luke Shaw cross the ball with his right foot? I don't think I've ever seen that ever. So, yeah, interesting. But also, we've also seen it on the same kind of page. Tellez, when he came in, pushed Luke Shaw right up and he started performing. So maybe he needs another kick up the arse.
I was just about to say that when last time we brought competition in, he responded. So you can only hope it does the same. Now we've brought somebody in who clearly looks like he might provide competition. Maybe that does the same for him.
Yeah.
So Malacia, Maguire had a decent game, I thought. Lindelof, thought he had a okay game as well. Really comfortable on the ball, but there was certain physical battles where he got done a little bit. But that's what we know. That is Lindelof. If he was to buy a tin of paint and it was Lindelof, that's what you're going to get on it, innit? You know what you're going to get with Lindelof. How do we think he performed, Adam?
One thing I noticed from him, he wanted to get forward a bit more. Maybe he was learning from Eric Bailly over the last few games, something that we saw. But one thing I did like is his head was up and he was always looking for the pass. We know he's like that anyway. We've seen it happen even a few times last season. One of his strengths, but one of his weaknesses, as we pointed out in one of our videos before, is his actual physical strength. It's not the best, especially against a more physical striker. But I thought today he didn't really do much wrong. He looked all right. Passed the ball well. He looked a bit more comfortable beside Maguire, which is kind of saying a lot, because that it's almost like the new Chuckle Brothers that partnership was last season. But I thought he was all right. It was nice seeing him trying to get forward a bit more. Maybe it's something that Ten Hag is trying to drill into the centre backs.
Yeah, Sam Lindelof DM. I'm joking. What do you think about his performance in general?
I thought decent. Didn't really have much to do on the full of it. Did, like you said, got bullied a little bit, but average performance, what you expect to see as a centre back. I think if we would have had Varane and Martinez, you probably would have been praising him a bit more and probably would have been a sort of stronger performance. But yeah, we know what to expect from Lindelof. Consistency, occasional clanger from him. Like occasionally he does do a bit of a sort of mistake, but for the most part, yeah, really cool. Can I also shout out? There's 80 people in the chat right now. It's fucking amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody watching. Just a comment from Ashley Dallow. Anyone wonders if Erik ten Hag is a loudspeaker instead of vocal cords? He's in Australia and I could hear his voice here in Mauritius. He means business. Great vocal coach. Are you in Mauritius, Ashley? You absolute jammy bastard. Can we come to Mauritius? That is amazing.
It's probably hotter here, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's 39 degrees right now.
Yeah, it's fucking very hot, like the back of a bus engine, as I keep repeating. But yeah, that goes back to what I was saying before, like the Ten Hag. He was going, "What the fuck was that, Dave? Do that again." Blah blah blah. Like you could hear him from miles away. So you can see the set demands he puts on certain players. He is intense as fuck. He comes across really nice, cool, calm, and collective, like in an interview. But on that pitch, he is a monster, absolute monster.
Proper leader.
Yeah, exactly. I want to touch on the last defender, Diogo Dalot, who I've been giving a lot of praise to recently. I thought he was linking up really good with Sancho. They're developing a really good partnership, which we always say on this show, don't we? Like, if you look at Liverpool, any other team you want, you've got Mo Salah, Trent, who works on the right-hand side. You've got Robertson and Mane, who's obviously left now, but it'll be Diaz. And they play consistently, so they know each other's patterns. They know how they play. And I think Dalot works really well for Sancho because he will do them. He will overlap. And then Sancho tucks into them little pockets and he's got that bit of flair to beat a man. And Dalot will always be an option there for him. So I think they work really well together. And them two was creating problems for the full 60 minutes he was on the pitch. And this is in pre-season. So if they've got, imagine them in 2 months' time when they've had serious competitive games under the belt, I think they're going to really flourish. But Adam, what do you think about Diogo Dalot?
I thought he looked really, really good. I really like what Ten Hag's doing with the fullbacks. They're a lot more forward, camped literally on the edge of the box, the opposition box now, and it's something we haven't seen for a long time actually. I think we saw it once or twice under Ragnick, but then we were always pinned back because we went on obviously.
It was always one side, wasn't it? Like it was Luke Shaw and Rashford. Yeah. That was the only side. Like nothing happened down our right hand side ever. Like never.
And now it's switched.
Yeah,
it's now switched. They're so literally pushed up, and it just feels good. It feels way more modern, and it feels like we've been very like in a stalemate recently with Manchester United. It's felt very like backwards. We've been trying to do counter-attack football a lot. So it's good to be on the the front foot. Yeah, the front foot for once. So we're modernising our game, and it seems like they're getting a bit used to it. Hopefully, it's something that they can bring into the new season coming, and we can actually dominate games with our pressing and actually possession as well. So it's looking good. I'm just hope it continues because I know we're linked with a new right back too.
And Jonathan Klaus.
He's just gone to
Marseille now.
Yeah.
Marseille, yeah. So maybe Dalot, I think we said it, he's going to be Ten Hag's probably first choice right back. We said it like even a couple of months ago we were predicting it because he's more of a modern fullback over Wan-Bissaka. So I was actually impressed with him today, especially for the assist on his left foot. Like, can you imagine one of our fullbacks actually crossing with their weak foot? We pointed out earlier. We never thought the day would happen, and it happened twice.
Yeah.
Literally one to the other.
Exactly. This is what I mean. How high do you think Dalot's ceiling is, Sam? How high do you think he can? Obviously, it's very early doors. Ten Hag's only just literally walked through the door, but how high is his ceiling?
Before I answer that, there's just a few comments. Ashley Dalot, we can go to Mauritius anytime. He'll be our guy and he can stay at his place. I think we might have to take him up on that. Go to Mauritius.
Is he paying?
Oh, yeah. He also said Ragnick, father of gegenpressing, and then Erik ten Hag's the great grandfather, because what you see in Man United play, they're so different. Team on fire with superb pressing and passing. Agreed, mate. Very much agree. And my girlfriend's also in the chat. How's it going, babe? You all right? Yeah, so, the question, how high is Dalot's ceiling? I think if Erik ten Hag continues to improve and continues to get stuff out of him that we've seen, it could be quite high. Like, he's still quite young. What is he, 25? 25?
Who Dalot? No,
Dalot.
younger than that. He's 22.
Oh, he's 22. Oh, it'd be even better.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's young, so he's not at his prime yet. He's not at his ceiling yet. So how high is that? It could be quite high, depending on what Erik ten Hag can coach out of him, how much he can develop him, all that. So it's all dependent on the coaching he receives and the sort of amount of games he gets and the system he plays in. It's all positive looking at him. I don't see a lot of downfalls in him, like we do with Wan-Bissaka. Like, we never saw any development of his attacking game. Like, we never saw a hint of it at any point. It was just purely one-on-one defending, tackling. That was his entire game. I think you've seen multi-facets to Dalot, that his defending improved. His attacking was always decent, but he's getting better now. So, yeah, like, I hope he gets better and better. Like, I hope he becomes a great right back. I don't think in the long run he's going to be number one right back, but I'd love to be proved wrong. I think we're going to go and buy somebody, but I'd love to be proved wrong. I'd love to see Dalot like claim that spot for himself.
But look what he's done with Erik ten Hag, what he's done with the likes of Mazraoui. He became one of the top fullbacks in Europe, and now isn't he gone to Bayern Munich? And he's going to be a starter at Bayern Munich. So he's one of the top fullbacks in all of Europe, and it was under the coaching of Erik ten Hag. So if you're Dalot, you have to relish this opportunity because he could take you to that next level.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to see how he works with him, and I want to see that partnership. That's the main thing for me. I want to see that develop and them working more and more together.
On that, Ashley Dalot, the work of Dalot and Malacia on the first Man United goal is commendable. Why do some fans write Dalot off? I think he'd be very important for the season. He will be our Gary Neville. So yeah, Ashley's rates Dalot very highly as well.
Big comparison. Gary Neville won 13. Was it 13 Premier League?
Premier League titles.
Yeah, 13 Premier League titles with us.
Champions League.
And was the captain, was consistent for a long time. So he's got a long way to go before he gets to that level. But I get what you're saying.
Question. I don't know if you're going on. I don't know if you're going on to Donny next, but Dan's got a question about Donny. So let me know when you're going on to Donny, and then we'll get the question.
I'm going to mention Scott McTominay. So after I've done my thing on Scott McTominay, we'll talk about Donny. This is a bit of a negative for me. Scott McTominay, I thought he was bang average again. I mean, it wasn't terrible by any stretch of the imagination, but if you're going to need players for a cup game, then play Scott McTominay. But if you're in a serious competition or you're trying to make it to a final, I don't see him performing in this system at a high level at all. And I don't want to assume, but I imagine you guys kind of agree with that, judging off his performance in the team. I don't think it controls or dictates the game at all. And I don't think it's quick enough in transition when you're trying to move the ball forward or when the ball's coming back the other way. I don't get him at all. I think his level's like a Southampton or a Newcastle, to be honest. It might sound harsh, but he's not a classy player and a classy, intelligent player. He's more like just physical, do you know what I mean? He's got a little bit of physicality about him. He'll get stuck in. More like a Sunday League player, I feel like. And I thought the difference was massive when Donny came on. We scored another 2 goals, I think. 2 or 3 goals, whatever it was. It's just class. Like, Donny's the opposite to McTominay. And I still think he put in as much leg work. He was putting in as much tackles, recovery tackles. So why not play Donny alongside Fred? If you can't get De Jong in until the end of August, why not do that? But yeah, give me your thoughts on that, Adam.
Yeah, he just looks sluggish on the ball every time, and he holds it for too long. Sometimes he makes the wrong decision in the pass, and it's going to be an issue going forward, especially with the way we want to play. When Donny came on, it was quick one-touch football, and just next level it was. It's nothing against the lad, nothing personal too. He really, really does love United. He came through the whole youth academy, and the transformation he done in the space of, I think, was it 2-3 years? Like, he ended up growing like nearly a foot, and then he's become pure Jack. But you could argue who's faster, him or Matic as well. Like, he's not a fast player.
He's not.
He isn't. Like, for me, you'd start him in 2 games, and that's against Leeds. That's all I'd probably start him.
Yeah, just save him. Yeah, save him for 1 game. Fuck yeah.
Pretty much. But it's definitely a position. It's the one position that I think we need to focus on big, and that's why he really wants to bring Frankie de Jong in, and he'd bring us to that next level, especially the midfield. Because midfield, if you can control it, more than likely you're going to win the game. If you can control the midfield, that's why City are so good. Even without a striker, they control the midfield.
Yeah, you just reminded me of a point there, Adam, because you mentioned about Scott McTominay saying he loves United and that isn't enough. So Joe Hart probably loves City, won a Premier League title there and stuff. Pep came in, it's in a bit, mate, not good enough. If you don't fit the system, go. That's how ruthless you need to be. Like, I don't want McTominay here, to be honest, and that might sound a bit harsh. He could turn it around by some miracle, but the difference between Frenkie de Jong and Scott McTominay, when you see him in that midfield, even if it's alongside Fred or Eriksen, Fred and Bruno, whatever it is, it's levels. Like completely different levels. So
And Nick, you get a decent fee for him. You get a decent fee for him, especially from another club too.
Yeah.
Like he has Premier League experience. He's relatively young as well. So if the opportunity came up, you probably should sell him because you make a bit of money too, and we need the money at the moment too. Let's be honest.
Exactly. Sam, I don't want to talk about McTominay for too long. You can give us some thoughts on him if you want, but I want to talk about Fred. I'm actually liking Fred at the moment, and I know he's limited at times, but I think he does a better job than McTominay, 100%. I think he's got better qualities than McTominay. That little pyramid that we was talking about at the start of the show, when you have Maguire, Lindelof, and then Fred taking it off the back four, or off the back two, should I say, then dictating play. That isn't his job. That's not what he's good at. He's better as an 8, pressing higher up, doing what McTominay was doing. But he was doing that job today, and he does it better. That's the only point I have. I'm not saying he's good enough for us to go win a Premier League or Champions League or whatever. But I think he would be a really good squad player, especially in a season when you've got the World Cup in November, December. So he's played a lot of games. We're in 4 cup competitions. You've got Europa League, 3 cup competitions, Europa League, FA Cup, Carabao, and the Premier League as well. You're probably going to end up playing about 60 games. So are you happy to continue with Fred as long as we get like a De Jong in, or do you think another one as well? Like, don't get me wrong, I want a Tielemans or I want a Conrad Laimer or someone like that, but I just don't think United are going to buy one.
Yeah. If I'm living in Dream World, we get Neves and we get De Jong. Like, I'd love to see that. Like, that'd be my favourite thing, but I just don't see it happening. Before I talk about Fred, just a couple of comments. Ashley Dallow agrees Scott McTominay showing his limits. Looks to me he's playing under pressure as he knows his place under starting 11 is under threat. Second team goal was a masterclass in passing. Martial was shot, rechanged, he's showing composure to pass to Van der Beek. Same for Van der Beek, who gave the ball to Rashford. Yeah, we'll get on to Van der Beek in a minute. I think, like you said, Fred's a good squad player. I think he is useful to the team, especially if you're in like a game that's a bit tough and me being sort of low blocked and stuff like that. And then we finally make a breakthrough and then we need to sort of solidify the game and sort of break up any chance of sort of a comeback or a counter-attack. You can bring Fred on to break up that play. High energy, chase the ball forever, is that kind of player. Will just give it everything for the thing. I think he got a little bit excited during the game today because he obviously scored that worldie against Melbourne, and then he was trying shots about 4 or 5 different times during this game, and it just weren't happening. I'm just like, mate, give it a rest for God's sake. Like, it's not happening today. You did one, that's you won. Like, let's calm down. But I think he's a useful squad player. I think we should keep him around. I think he's definitely worth being in the squad for the energy he brings, for the commitment and the sort of breaking up play that he brings. But yeah, for me as well. But yeah, Scott McTominay, I think the party's over. I think he needs to go.
Yeah, he's still like partying to Gangnam Style. He's got his red cup in his hand, and everyone else is fucked off. Yeah. It's done, Scott. He seems like.
And I like Scott, man. He seems like a genuine dude. He seems like he loves United, and he gives everything in every game. But just ability wise, just not there for me.
It's not at it. Sometimes you have to be ruthless. Look what happened, how long we kept all the Lingard for. He'd been at the club for ages. Like, if he gets to a certain point, just get rid of him. Because he'll end up stinking out the place like Lingard did, and we definitely don't want that. A man who plays in a similar position to Jesse Lingard, Adam, Bruno Fernandes, slowly improving little bit by bit. I don't think he's doing anything major. He knits play together well. Doesn't look as erratic towards the back end of the season. But again, I feel like there's still a few little cobwebs with Bruno, and I don't think he's at his top level yet. Would you agree with that assessment?
Oh yeah, I'd agree with that. Obviously he's changed a bit since Derek Ten Hag has come in. One thing I noticed is he's not trying that what I call the Hail Mary pass. He's not trying them the whole time. So we're not turning possession isn't turning that fat. We're not losing the ball as much, because that's one thing that an attacking midfielder does a lot, is try and create chances, and usually they have a lower overall passing percentage. But he seems to be on average a lot higher now than what it was. So he's not trying those, as risky passes or
More control in it.
more control. Yeah, just more control, and maybe he senses obviously Eriksen's waiting for him back nearly in Manchester, so he's like, okay, I can't be doing this, I can't be doing that, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing to have competition, and I think Erik ten Hag will get the best out of him. We've seen it with Dusan Tadic. Never know, he could be another one of those type of players.
I certainly hope so, because I'm a massive fan of Bruno, and obviously in the season under Ole when he got like 18 goals and 12 assists or something like that, just in the Prem alone, it was because of the counter-attacking style of football. So when he gets it, Bruno's one of them players where he has to like instant boom, send it, like Rashford, very instinctive, quick, get it done. It'd be nice to see the transformation of him becoming this more intelligent control player, taking the shot when it's on and making the pass when it's on. I'm excited to see that. Sam, Jadon Sancho finally starting to look like the player we actually bought from Dortmund. We've been chasing him for about 2 fucking years. It's been a slow burner, but he is sending defenders currently to Tesco left, right, and centre. Like, he is skinning everyone, and I absolutely fucking love it. I am here for it. He's the best player at the moment, in my opinion. I just feel like on the pitch, I think he's very exciting. I think he does everything well, links up with Dalot really well, and we all said he'd thrive under Erik ten Hag, and it certainly looks like that's what he's doing, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, he looks fantastic. Also, shout out to Severe, friend of the channel in the chat. How's it going, mate? You're all good. Bruno, he said Bruno's in trouble. Eriksen suits the system better. Unless Ten Hag plays him as a wide playmaker, but Eriksen takes that number 10 position. Interesting.
Big call.
Sancho, just absolutely tearing defenders apart. He's looking like. Do you remember when we were like linked with him for like 2 years, and all we did was watch like highlight clips on YouTube of him like tearing the Bundesliga defenders apart? That's what it looks like right now. It's just like it looks like he's back to the Jadon Sancho that everybody was so excited to get. And I think the more Ten Hag works with him, the better he's going to get. And I hope he's feeling like he's got his scoring boots on this season as well, because I think the assists are going to come, no doubt. But I hope he gets like quite a lot of goals as well. I think he should clear up in this thing. Just one more. Flex Felix. I hope it's not the flex from United View, because if it is, what are you doing on our channel? Sancho is definitely.
It won't be.
Sancho is definitely the best player so far. Yeah, we all in agreement there, mate, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. However, there may be a contender. Anthony Martial. Listen, right, we have to give Severe his flowers, because he has backed Martial to the fucking hills. Even when he came back from Sevilla and he had the shittest loan spell, the fans were booing him. Even Severe was like, he'll be back, don't worry. That last little glimmer of hope. Look, he's got 3 goals in 3 games. Looks really sharp. Done really well.
He's linking up play well.
Yeah, his link up is perfect. He seems systematic. Like, he's perfect for that system. He links up with Sancho really well. He's got that relationship with Rashford. Even Bruno Fernandes, they always joke about like linking up and stuff. It's really impressive, and he is impressing me. I want to ask you this question, Adam. Give me your thoughts on Martial as well. But there's a lot of people talking. I don't want to jump the gun. I'm not saying this, right? But there's a lot of people.
Severe's in the chat about it as well. He's taking his flowers. He said, "All right, lads, have you done the Martial bit yet?" Yeah, we're just doing it now, mate. We're doing it now.
Yeah. You have to give him his flowers, because he's always said this consistently about Martial. He has, and he's absolutely spot on so far. Adam, there's a lot of people talking about Cristiano Ronaldo potentially coming back. It doesn't seem like Chelsea want him. Doesn't seem like Bayern Munich want him. Not a lot of options out there. If you're Erik ten Hag now, and he comes back into the squad, what are you doing?
I might seem rootless, but I'm putting him on the bench.
Oh,
like he's right before the tour. He just drops this bombshell that he wants to leave. It's not a good look on the club, and Erik ten Hag will be thinking this as well. It might seem very, very harsh, but it's the truth. And we've brought Martial's come back, and he hasn't put a foot wrong. He looks like he's so much more tuned in, interested. He wants to up his game, and Ten Hag seems to be getting the best out of him as well. And that's something I honestly didn't expect. I wrote him off for so long. I was like, so if Ronaldo does stay, then do we need to sign another striker? Maybe we don't. I want to see more of Martial because the link-up play is looking really, really well. I like it's a lot better than what Ronaldo's was last season. And that was one of the big criticisms of Cristiano last season, despite getting the goals. But the goals seem to be a bit more distributed now. Rashford actually is too. How many goals did he get last season? Was it like 3 or 4? It could have been all season. Four.
Four,
So
yeah.
yeah, in what 3 games he already has half of what he got last season. So for me, I'm putting Cristiano on the bench. I'm putting him on the bench if he comes, and then he has to work his way back into the team. He has to play his way into the team because he actually has to do a few training sessions with the new manager and understand the way they play. So you can't just throw him into the middle there and just disturb everything. Then it might seem harsh, but it's the truth.
No, I do agree with you on a lot of the points you made there. Sam, I want to play devil's advocate in this situation. Can you imagine if Martial had done what Ronaldo's done, like Adam was talking about then, in just before we're about to go on pre-season tour, and he's like, right, I want to go, and starts kicking up a fuss and whatever, blah, blah, blah. They're not going to start him, are they? So why should the moral be any different with Ronaldo, right?
Sorry, just make sure I'm muted. Yeah, I think if Andy Martial came out and went, I'm done with United, I want to move, I'm done, I don't want to be here, blah, 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 like pretty much what all Ronaldo has done, he'd be hung, drawn and quartered, wouldn't he, by the online fan base. People would tear him to pieces.
Exactly.
But Ronaldo, you have to be, like you said, you have to be ruthless. Ronaldo, I love him for all the memories he's given me, for all the goals he scored, not just now, but like when he was first at United, everything he's done, I love Ronaldo. He's one of my favourite players of all time. But if you don't want to be here, go. See you later. Like, just leave. Like, I want players who want to be at the club. That's it. If you don't want to be here, just get out. Like, that's as simple as that. We wish you all the best and we wish you, like, luck in your career. But if you don't want to be here, there's no point, because you're just taking up a spot from a player who wants to be here, and you're taking up money from a player who could be here. Just for you, like, move on, there's a couple of comments. I'll just drop them quickly. Flex Felix, no, not that Flex. Okay, good to see you, lad. Good to see you. Ashley, I was bashing Martial, thinking he's not good enough, but he's showing something completely during this preseason. His mindset's changed. He looks happy. He said, also agree, CR7 on the bench, putting a transfer request at the wrong moment. Martial and Langer are pushing. CR7 no more indispensable.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm
Felix,
shocked. I'm absolutely shocked.
Martial deserves the position, but I feel if Ronaldo stays, his ego will ruin the dressing room. Interesting. And then Nick's favourite person in the chat. I think it's referring to Rashford. 1 Premier League goal last season, but 17 Premier League goals in the 1920 season.
Yeah.
And then he also said, can't Ronaldo just buy himself out of his contract if he wants to go? His career earnings are north of 1 billion. Yeah, good point.
A lot of that is assets, though, that he owns. It could be cars, it could be everything like that. So property. He's a smart lad at the end there. Paul, he probably won't do that to sit and get the money then, although he probably doesn't want to do that at the last 2 years of his career.
I find it funny how he's very quick to come out about the Sporting Lisbon rumours, and he said fake straight away. Yeah. But then anything about Chelsea or Bayern Munich or anything like that, he doesn't say shit and leaves the United fans in the dark. And we're like, well, we're on tour. We need you there. He knows him not being there is a massive, massive thing to happen. The media are going to jump all over it. We can't prepare for the season properly. So why, if he changes his mind now because no clubs want him, why should we put him in the team? We shouldn't. It should be double
earn your way into the team. That's how United should be. You should earn your way into the team. Just if you play well, if you do well in training, you commit yourself and you do well, you get your opportunity. And if you're playing well on the pitch, which Martial is doing, you keep your place because you're playing well. As soon as you stop playing well,
I'm very sceptical because I have seen Martial have dips in form before, and let's not forget it's still pre-season. This ain't against City. It's not against all these kind of teams. And Ronaldo does produce in the big moments, so there is a big golfing class.
I'm being corrected. So I don't want to on the Martial thing. It was 1 goal last season. It was Martial, not Rashford. Rashford got 5 in the league last season. So sorry, I'm being corrected.
Yeah, because Martial went in January, didn't he? He went to Sevilla because he didn't. I think he scored against Everton, actually, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was a goal he scored. Yeah. So yeah, it's a mad debate to even to be thinking we're talking about this. If you said this 3 months ago to us, we'd be like, "Shut up, mate! What are you on about?" But it just shows how much stuff can change in football. Like that's how quick it moves. But yeah, I definitely stand on the moral point where Ronaldo now it's a weird one because he doesn't want to be here. So why should we play him? One more player I want to touch on before we get into the ratings and man of the match. Marcus Rashford, interesting one. This is the one I think will devise some opinions because he's got a goal, so he's got on a score sheet. Fabulous, fantastic. But I still don't see a massive improvement. I see a slight improvement, especially to last year, because as we've said, you can only improve on last year. He was that bad. He was rock bottom. So you can only take.
He'd have to not
and
show
like
up
Bruno,
to be worse than last season,
exactly,
wouldn't he?
yeah, exactly. So the same as Bruno, I think is gradually improving, not to the level I wanted it to, but he's getting there slow. I think he's a bit behind Sancho and Martial in terms of performance, but I do think it'll come in time. It just needs to adapt to the tactics, and sometimes it takes longer for individuals. What do you think of Marcus Rashford, Adam?
I thought there is signs of improvement, little bits of improvement.
Tiny bits, yeah.
Yeah, we see that, like especially was it the turn he done for the was it for his goal then?
It might have been. It was for Sancho, yeah. Sancho, yeah.
The turn that he done for that, fantastic. We haven't seen that at all last season. I don't think we've seen it in the last 2 seasons with him.
Makes the right pass as well.
Exactly, that's the big thing. He actually he's making the right pass now rather than turning around again. And maybe it is to do with the coaching too, because I think we said before Ten Hag hates to have the ball go backwards. One of his biggest pet peeves, and he's always looking forward now. Seems to be making the right decision a bit more when to make the run. Don't be running up blind alleys, because we've seen that a lot, especially last season. So I think the saying is things can only get better. Let's hope. But little signs of improvement. Maybe he'll be a bit slow, but he can maybe work his way back in. It's not the Rashford we've seen 2-3 seasons ago, but anything's an improvement over last season.
Yeah. Sam, any final thoughts on Rashford before we get into the ratings and man of the match?
No, I think Adam covered it all. Just a couple of comments. Dalot, CR7 is acting fake. His agent confirmed he knew that Man United would not be in the Champions League. He wanted to leave. Why did he wait so long to submit a request? Let him go on a free. Yeah, they're never doing that. They're never letting him go on a free. I'm sorry, mate, but it's not.
Nah, not a chance. United and money in it.
Yeah, Mahmood, so it's called United supporters. So selective when it comes to criticising players. There is a bit of bias in the fan base. You're correct, mate. But we try on this channel. We try and be as objective as possible. Obviously, we have our favourite players. We do, and we do have a bit of blindsides, but we try and be as objective as possible. Flex Felix,
I think anyone's naturally biased sometimes, isn't it? Like
it's football, of course it is. There's always bias. Yeah. It's football.
Yeah.
Flex
I'm
Felix.
one of the first few people to put my hand up and say like, I criticised this player in the past a lot. Yeah. He's doing good now. Okay, I stand corrected. Like Martial now, I was really critical of him just in January. I felt like he just didn't look interested at all. But now he's looking a lot more interested. And I can say that now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I'm wrong, because maybe in 6 months' time he might be back to that. But it's just the way it's form. Football at the end of the day.
One more comment.
Opinions change.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, one more comment. Flex Felix, I'm glad Lingard left. He was becoming a bad influence to Rashford. So.
Not the point there. Yeah. So we finished on individuals there, Sam. You said you said everything you need to say, yeah? Okay. Ratings of man of the match. We'll go through the ratings very quickly. Start off with the keeper up into the striker. So David De Gea, I'm going to give him 5.5. I thought it was one of his shitter games on the pre-season tour. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Fair assessment, 5.5, I was saying.
Diogo Dalot, I'd give a 7. Thought he was a bright spark, linking up with Jadon Sancho for the full 60 minutes. Obviously got that wonderful assist for Martial, so 7.
I'm giving him a 7.5 for the assist. Left foot, we never see that. Weak foot.
You got a final decision on it?
I'll go 7.5 because I think he deserves a bit of love. I think he's been really good. So yeah, give him the extra half point.
That's for you, Dalot. Harry Maguire and Lindelof will do as a pairing. I thought pretty average. I'd say 6.
Yeah.
To be honest, would you agree?
Yeah. Didn't really do much wrong, so yeah.
Yeah, I think Maguire was better, but let's be honest, Maguire's average performance, especially from last season, was probably about a 4. So the fact he's got a 6 is, it's improvement. That's the way you've got to look at it.
Did you ever see the picture? you ever
Go
see the
on.
picture of all these ratings from the different games, and they're just all below average?
Oh,
Jesus
shit, yeah,
Christ.
Oh,
Exactly. So it's just focusing on improvement. That's
yeah,
all. The
that's
only
it.
thing that matters. They're improving. That's it. Malacia, I would give. You know what? If you're giving Dalot 7.5, I'd give Malacia 7.5. I thought he had a really good game. What do we think?
I'd say just because he didn't really get the assist, I put it a little
The
bit
right
below.
foot,
That's the
though.
only
The right
thing.
foot
The right
to
foot.
Dalot. It's. But yeah,
the
it's,
assist there.
Sam, what do you
I'll
think?
go with a 7. I think, yeah, if he would have got the assist, he'd get him the actual half, but I think, yeah, 7.
Okay, interesting. And then we go on to McFred. I'm going to give McTominay a 5 because I just thought he didn't do anything at all. And everyone might be thinking, "Oh, that's harsh. He was average," but I'm just annoyed with it at the minute. Like I need to see a different midfielder. I'd give McTominay a 5, and I'd give Fred probably a 6. I'd say average.
Yeah, I think 5 for McTominay, and I'd say 5.5 for Fred, just because I remember one point he did lose the ball very easily, and they almost went on the break and actually scored. I think the shot came straight to De Gea at the end, but that's what I do as a pair. I suppose you get the average of 5.25.
Sam,
Yeah, 5 and a 6 for McTominay and Fred. Like, I thought this coming season we'd seen the end of McFred, and they're still there. And
it'd be all.
it's starting to get to me now. I need something else in the midfield. I'm like, it's really starting to get to me now. Like, let's just change it up. Let's freshen it up. I don't care. Play Zidane, pal. Play Charlie Savage. I don't care. Just let's change this midfield, please.
Yeah, I agree with. So, what rating are we giving Fred and McTominay
5 and 6
altogether? 5 and 6. Okay, interesting. Jadon Sancho got a goal, of course, was instrumental in a couple of the goals, was on fire for the full 60 minutes. I'd give him an 8. I thought he's been mega impressive. Adam?
Yep, for me, an 8 as well. He's looking like we said a while ago he's going to be probably one of our better players next season under Ten Hag, and I can definitely see it. He just looks a lot more positive. He looks like the Sancho that made us be linked with him and want to get by him. And we're playing the way he actually likes to play as well. And he's seeing these passes, the quick passes, like the one inside the box to Martial stood out for me. It was huge. So 8 today, yeah, arguably could be man of the match.
You agree with that, Sam?
Yeah, totally agree. I think Adam said everything I want to say about Sancho. Fantastic. 8.
Perfect. Bruno Fernandes. I won't give him anything over a 6.
No, that had to be a 6 today. Just
Average, yeah.
average. Nothing really, nothing wrong, nothing right, I suppose.
Yeah.
Nothing like stand out.
Yeah.
Top 6 today.
Marcus Rashford, again, I'd say a 6. Thought he was average. Did some things all right. Obviously, that he got a goal, but it was a tap in. Wasn't nothing major. And then the pass, the little spin and the pass he did was good. So he probably bumping up a few points, but I won't say any.
Say 6.5. Say 6.5.
Yeah. 6.5 at a push, I'd probably say. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
agree on that. And then my man of the match, Anthony Martial. I thought he was 8.5, like on a similar level to Sancho. Obviously, you guys might disagree with that. You might say Sancho, but I thought Martial was my match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's just a link-up player. Everything looks way better and improved under him. When you have an interest in Martial, he's one of the best players in the team, and we just haven't seen it enough. And that's really been my only criticism of the lad for so long. But 8.5 today, I think my man of the match too.
He's pressing as well. Yeah. Like he looked hungry, and it's weird to see it from him. Leadership skills as well at certain times, as I said before. Mental. Never thought I'd be saying this, but Sam, Anthony Martial for you.
Yeah, 8. Just to be different, I'll go with Sancho as man of the match, but it's arguably a toss-up between the two. They were both like really, really good. Yeah, just gonna run through a couple of comments before you get onto the rest of it. Rashford and Martial's record for Man U over the last 7 seasons are very similar. It's from Nick Knack. Very worst season last year. Both had their best season 19-20. Both solid 17-18, 18-19. McTominay should get a 4.5 and Fred a 6. That's from Dalot. And then Dalot, Fred is like Fellaini. They look to be eternal when they just want them to leave. Add to the list Harry Maguire. I disagree with fans when players score tap-ins. Tap-ins are tap-ins due to the good movements of the players. Tap-ins are not as easy as they look. Yeah, fair point.
Well, I don't know. I think I disagree with that because it's called a tap in for a reason, isn't it? Like he's right in front of the goal. I could have scored that, what Rashford scored today. Do you know what I mean? It'd take a bad player to really miss that. But anyway, the ratings are done. We discussed that man of the match. I know players had 30 minutes, but let's be honest, when they came on, it was just the game was done, wasn't it, really? Yeah. The whole rhythm of the game completely changed. Yeah. There wasn't much going on. You had a red card, so I don't want to go through all them ratings because we'll just be here forever. So let us know, guys, in the comment section who your man of the match was, who you thought stood out, who you thought didn't stand out really well, e.g. Scott McTominay. And we've got a game on Saturday against Aston Villa, which I will be doing a watch-along with, maybe a few of the guys with me along with that. And check out the content schedule as well to see what other videos coming up. Like you got like head-to-head, FIFA career mode, and then something on Friday. That transfer show, is it? I think.
Yeah.
Sam.
Yeah.
So yeah, and make sure you follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram as well. Just follow Real Reds Talk and check out our Twitch, which is Real Reds Gaming. Any other final thoughts, lads, before we head off?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. I think we got up to like 80 people at some point. It was fucking awesome. Thank you so much for the support. I love it. And if you're watching and you're not subscribed, you've not liked, please do so. It helps us out so much. We're trying to push for 250 before the start of the season, even beyond. And we're trying to grow this channel as much as possible. And it's only possible with you guys. So if you want to share it to, if you've got a football fan or a United fan, friend, family, share it with them. We want as much people as possible to be interacting with us on stuff like this, and it's only going to get better. This new look we've got now is just a temporary placeholder. We've got big, cool stuff coming, so to keep tuned because you'll see it all. It's all going to get better each week. We're going to try and improve, so just stay with us for it.
And shout out Nick Knack as well. We've got a connection behind this computer screen. I can feel it. Yeah, thank you for joining, Adam. Really appreciate it. I know you're I was going to say jet lagged then, but you went to Paris, so you can't be jet lagged.
It's only an hour.
Yeah, but you had a tough kind of way there and way back, so I appreciate you joining me. And also Sam as well. Thank you very much. With all technical difficulties, we got through it. We got to the finish line, and we're buzzing. United have won 3-1. So make sure you all hit the subscribe button, like the video, and we will